streaming and just kind of because your streams aren't crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you have 5 million monthly listeners. I think the last time I checked, you were sitting around like 300,000 monthly listeners, but your opportunities are not the same as like other artists that have 300,000 monthly listeners, right? What is just your attitude and just kind of how you approach and streaming and your feelings about it?
I don't really dig into streaming too much because, like I said, I start figuring out the metric. Like my monthly listeners is about 300,000, but I did 10 million streams last year. That means these people are listening to my songs at a 40 times ratio versus most artists. It's like 3 to 5. Right. So I don't even trip off streaming at all. I just keep cultivating an audience. And I know streaming is a byproduct of me doing great work. If I make a great piece of content and you love it, you're going to go stream the song. If you come to a show and you love it, you're going to go play my music on the way home. You're going to play it on the way to the show. So that's why I also put out so much music. It's like, bro, go stream, go do it. The music is just marketing for the live show for me and just marketing for my life. The music is just marketing. So when I put out a book, you want to go buy it. When I go do a show, you want to come. When I do a free game Friday, you want to watch. It don't hold that much importance to me no more at all. So I don't dig too deep into it because I know that the numbers make sense depending on what you cultivate. You cultivate a great audience, then you could have 200,000 monthly listeners and still do 10 million streams a month. Like next year, I plan to do 1 billion streams. And now that I know, I don't need 10 million monthly followers to do this, it really altered my perspective. I just need to keep on nurturing the seeds that I am. I got to keep pouring that water on this plant and it just grows bigger. Like, for you to have this month of monthly listeners and get that amount of streams with no heavy playlisting, I've probably been on 4 or 5 editorial playlists throughout my entire career and for a short time. Right. So my streams, if you look at, they show you how much is coming from editorial. My shit don't come from Spotify editorial. My shit comes from user generated.
I mean, you'll get more.
Right. It's at some point they'll have to because it's like, bruh, what are we doing? Right. But right now it's like, it's the people. And I'll always rely on the people. I serve the people. I don't serve Spotify.
Right. And this is why I started this podcast, because I want people to understand that there's so many different ways to go about this, right? Like I've talked to artists where streaming is their main priority because they don't want to tour, and they're making a shitload of money off streams because they have, constructed their business and their strategies to run up the streams, right? And I just think it's beautiful that we have the ability now to set up our businesses different ways and to have different revenue mixes, but at the end of the day, still be successful.
Right. And streams is pivotal. And for me, I even learned, like, I'm more proud of the fact, like, my catalog per streaming generates about $16,000 a month right now. Out of that 16,000, I probably retain about 5 or 6 because I split it with my mom, parent, daughter, kid, team, the fans. So it's like out of that's generated, I only see a quarter of it anyway. So that's what also hasn't built the importance of it for me, but it also has because it's like, damn, if I'm making 16 and I'm keeping 5, that means I'm paying, 11,000 of that is going to people who just helped. And that's a beautiful thing to me. And it's passive. Right. Like, man, streaming is just like, it's for a lifetime. Like I focus on the revenue that could be generated through me, through my body, me going to do a show, me selling gold cards, me selling shares and stocks. Like I make all of my money off me being me. And like I say, the streams is just, that's a passive thing that's there that take care of everybody in the background. Right.
Well, let's talk about that because I know a lot of people watching this podcast are not going to be familiar with all your other interviews. And I know that you've talked about the way you split proceeds from streaming, give it to different people. But what's the mindset if we just quickly just kind of, because I don't want you to talk about it. People don't know exactly if they haven't seen an interview. Like what are you doing with who gets splits? What's the strategy? What's the mindset behind that?
So splits is a function within the distro to split the revenue generated from your master, from your streaming revenue. So if you generate $10,000 a month, you can split that, divvy it between people. Yep. I started splitting that revenue with my collaborators first and my team. So anyone who helped me make the song, producers, engineers, artwork, photographers, just my dad, my mom letting us use this space. If I go to a certain studio, I'll give them a percentage. We just did some shit in David Ali shit. He's getting a percentage, you know. So shit like that. Hovain, Johnny Shipes, Charlemagne. If you've just helped me, you'll get a split in that. And eventually I gave a bunch to the fans. I did a whole album called Cook Together, Eat Together, and I gave all the equity away to everyone who's kind of helped throughout the journey. All the people I used to see in the comments and shit, gay splits. And then eventually I start selling it. It was like, this is actually an asset. This is something people would be interested in. You love baggage claim. You would want to own a percentage of baggage claim and collect for the rest of your life, right? So I start selling it. And I think the first day I start selling splits, we had over 1,000 offers. And I probably did like 40 or 50K in revenue and just that day of accepting offers. And it just showed me the power of like, this is a lifelong asset. If I could spend $250 today and get paid the rest of my life off of it, that's an easy one. If I could spend $5,000 today and get paid for the rest of my life off that one time, I won, right? So for the fans, it's like, this shit is forever and it's a W because I'm only getting bigger. If my catalog is generating 16,000 a month now, and I'm at where I'm at, it's like Drake got 300 million followers. Right. We got a whole, you feel me? This shit coming in and everybody gets to eat off a one-time fee. I'm not charging people a subscription basis. Like you make an offer. If it makes sense with what it is, you pay this one time and you eat the rest of your life. It's a win. Right.
No, I think that's amazing. Like a lot of independent artists, again, we were talking about this on the Music Entrepreneur Club podcast this morning because, you know, just how some of the negotiations, whether it's a producer or whoever is a part of the records, like can get real nasty and get real ugly.
I hate it.
And this to me is just such a, like just your energy and the way you go about this is so positive. But for you, it's also, it's your brand, and it like the brand value is, I mean, I can't put a number on that in terms of like, you know, what it's telling to the people, like who you are, right? And I'm not sure if you thought about it that way, but I think that you do a lot of things intentionally and unintentionally that just created like the perfect brand for yourself. Like you are the people's champ. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a newer Nipsey Hussle, right?